to prevent all the mentioned issues. Again, propaganda, like there are a lot of issues, Look at there, look up there, look at the other paragraph. There are a ton of issues. Hello, IELTS writer. I see you're watching YouTube videos to improve your IELTS writing score. Very well. Welcome to IELTS Juice. Let's start assessing one essay together. Many working people get little or no exercise either during the working day or in their free time and have health problems as a result. Why do many working people not get enough exercise? What can be done about this problem? Okay, so in the IELTS community, you might have heard two-part question. This means that you have two questions to answer, and these two questions might not necessarily be related. Now, as you can see, the first question focuses on the reason why these employees do not get enough exercise. So we need to come up with a couple of reasons. And then what can be done about this problem? So we know it's a problem. What are the solutions? That's the second question. They are both questions about the topic here. Now, let's look at the topic. I want to analyze something. It says many working people. Please pay attention that we're talking about working people, employees. That's our target audience. So we don't go around in our essay and say people, individuals, persons, which is wrong. So we don't go ahead and just generalize everybody on the planet. We are only focusing on the people who work, employees again. And get little or no exercise. So we have little to no exercise in their category. And it can be either during their working day or their free time. It doesn't matter. Either during the time that they work or they're with their family or they have free time, whatever it is, they don't do that. And because of this trend, they have health problems. So health plays an important role here. Pay attention to the elements in the topic. Those are the ones that you need to address. IELTS needs to see that you paid attention to the topic. I have seen multiple samples out there that people look at it, IELTS candidates now, look at it and they just say, it's about exercise. Why people don't do exercise? Well, these housewives do this, and I mean, I don't know, children should do that, and they play games. No, that's not the topic. That's not the topic. The topic is about only employees and why they either exercise very little or they never do that. Another rule of thumb, I have two questions. Generally speaking, I need two different paragraphs, so I'm not going to mix those. Preferably, I'm going to devote at least one paragraph for each question. And on those two notes, let's carry on reading the response here. I'm sure you are also very excited to see. People living in socialized environments, because we're not talking about the weather here. We're not saying the environment like, oh gosh, look at the environment, look at the landscape, the mountains, the sun, the sky. No, here we're talking about environment as an isolated man-made space. That is countable. You can say environments. I like this. I forgot to mention that I like this because this is reduced relative clause. This is an advanced grammatical structure. People living in socialized environments. Like it's like people who live in socialized environments. Why there's a comma here? I don't need this. Have to address their day-to-day, I need hyphens here, day-to-day needs by working full-time. Full-time needs a hyphen. Uh, Full-time has become a word. So it's all one word, but we still need to put a hyphen. If I think you don't remember, but back in the day, I remember that the first time email was introduced, it was called electronic mail, 2 words. And later they changed it into E, capital E, hyphen mail. And the E must, at that point, had to be actually capital E, and the rest, and you had to put a hyphen to make it one word. And slowly they got rid of the hyphen, and E became a small e or lowercase e, and now we have the word email. What I just told you is the evolution, or one of the natural evolutions of words in English. That happens actually in all languages as well. What I want to say here is that IELTS will look at it as a mistake, because this is not what you can see on a dictionary. Yes, I understand full-time is all one word, and eventually one day when you watch this video, maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 years later, full-time has already become all one word and it's written like this on a dictionary. I'm fine with that. That's the natural way it should be. But at the moment, when you look it up on a dictionary, it comes with a hyphen. So we are not allowed to get ahead of dictionary. We are not more knowledgeable than an English dictionary, of course. Sad to say, but I mean, admittedly, our knowledge is not larger than a dictionary's. So we need to write it exactly as it appears on a dictionary. Let's continue. Or even having a part-time, this is correct, job on the side to survive in this environment. All right. I'm not sure socialized environments is a very good word, but I'll continue. As a result, I need a comma, they won't be able to spend time doing exercise, or spend time on exercise, and they won't be able to spend time, and they won't be able to take care of their general health. That's, it should match, right? Like they won't be able to spend time, they won't be able to take care of their general health. I like this, that the introduction focuses on health as well, mentions it at least. In this essay, comma, I'm not a fan of contracted forms, really. I am. This is not wrong, but it's not very formal. I am going to discuss this situation and finally suggest solutions for overcoming this issue. All right. It's kind of good and bad at the same time. The writer wants to address the problems and then come up with solutions all at the same time. So the writer thinks this is a problem solution essay and doesn't fully analyze the task. Maybe at least that's my understanding, that the writer hasn't taken the time to fully understand. That's one issue. When we call it a problem solution, everybody thinks, okay, so I'm going to talk about the problems and then come up with a solution, and finally that's it, done. Good, where's my 7? No, that's not the case. This talks about problems, and yes, you need to come up with some solutions, yes, but I feel this thesis statement is going to disappoint me. I don't know how. Let's continue. Unfortunately, wow, one of the negative impacts of full-time with a hyphen employment is that people have to be completely dedicated and responsible for their career. This is it, because they're people and they're more than one. This requires them to work. Or you can simply say this requires working at least 8 hours per day, comma, and that does not include the time spent commuting. This is very good. The time which is spent, again, contracted reduced relative clause, commuting from their residences to their work location. I like it. I like it. So these people are busy with the work. So 8 hours a day is considered full-time and you don't have the rest. All these issues won't leave any time in the daily lives because we're, generalizing, right? All the employees. All these issues, we only mentioned one issue so far. Leave any time in the daily life to be spent on other activities like, not kike, physical exercises. Okay, this acts as a concluding sentence. Really, do we really need a concluding sentence? We only read 2 sentences, and after 2 sentences, we come up with a conclusion? That's very early, and it's not necessary. Really, we don't need to write concluding sentences for each paragraph. If you only have a very good conclusion, which is a concluding paragraph in the end, that's enough for IELTS. When people do not spend sufficient amount of time exercising based on their lifestyles, comma, they might experience mental and physical health issues. So there are other issues now, other than the first issue we talked about, which was time and the dedication that it needs, and you don't have enough time. We also have mental and physical health related issues here. For example, heart diseases, becoming overweight, high blood pressure, diabetes, and even psychological issues like depression. Sounds really nice, but this is not a sentence. It's just a list of examples, so I need to remove. I cannot remove this full stop because this is the topic sentence of the entire paragraph. So I need to change this sentence. Instead of saying, for example, I need a sentence with verbs. We can say, like, we can take these examples, A, B, C, D, as some of the issues that such people suffer from. And that would make it look like a proper sentence. But this is not a sentence. There's no verb here. If you check, there is no verb. All of these issues, again, all of these issues, it's like a propaganda machine keeps telling me that there are a lot of issues, like vote for me. There are a lot, those camps, that party has a lot of issues. All of these issues result, because it's plural, result in increasing demand for medical services and extra charges on governments, not governments, governments. and insurance companies, that they might get into trouble. This is not that they might get into trouble providing these services. That's not a very good sentence, this one. Maybe it should have been written like, which might get such companies into trouble. That would have been a better reword of this part. Again, I don't need a concluding sentence. It's extra and it's now repetitive. So far we just talked about the issues, and now we have the last paragraph. In my opinion, to prevent all the mentioned issues, again, propaganda, like there are a lot of issues, Look at there, look up there, look at the other paragraph. There are a ton of issues. Well, in all honesty, we had mental, physical issues, and we just named. We came up with a lot of examples, but we didn't develop them. And we also had an issue of time. I'm not downgrading it. I'm just saying, when you say a lot of these issues, you feel like, oh my gosh, there are like 10 plus issues mentioned in the previous paragraph. Well, it was just one for the first one, and probably 2 physical and mental issues in the second body paragraph. It's not that big a deal. Governments, spelled correctly this time, must spend a budget on advertising the benefits of exercise on the general health. Good. Also, comma, they can force the employers. I hope this "the" refers to the employers of those unhealthy employees to provide exercise-related services. I need a hyphen here. This is a compound adjective. For the employees, and even place subsidies, not subsidies, on the fees related to exercise activities to finally increase the rate of employed population doing daily exercise. Okay, 259 words. But before I continue, I didn't see a conclusion. I think we answered the first question in the 2 body paragraphs. We talked about the problem. Why is it? And then the solution was given here in the last paragraph. So we answered 2 questions, but we didn't come up with a conclusion. And no, the highlighted paragraph cannot be the conclusion because it contains new information. Conclusion acts as the concluding element of everything mentioned before it. That's why it is named conclusion. But if you're going to write something new in the conclusion, then that's not a conclusion. That's just another normal body paragraph. So we don't have a conclusion in this essay. Let's look at the band descriptors. It's obvious. Multiple 6s from paragraphing, not being always logical because we didn't have a conclusion, to issues between the transition between sentences, either grammatical mistakes or complex grammatical mistakes or punctuation mistakes that contributed to the connection to the transition between one sentence and another sentence that comes after it. And the task response, basically, we answered all parts of the task. The first question was addressed more fully than the second one. And the development inside, again, wasn't very clear or enough. The conclusion is unclear, and we need some of the main ideas, like the examples, the series of examples, they were not adequately developed. We had some vocabulary mistakes and some grammar mistakes, and the number of errors in both cases was high, but they did not affect my understanding. So you and I, we both read the essay and we enjoyed reading it, of course, but could have been avoided if we just proofread the essay before we submit it to IELTS Juice. All in all, this is 6. This is 6, and this is an honest 6. How can it be improved? First, conclusion. We definitely need another paragraph. We definitely need a conclusion. And the second, when we analyze the question in front of us. We don't listen to what you have found on some website, or you hear some community, IELTS related community tells you that, yeah, this is, if it's problem solution, you just do this blindly. We spend time, we analyze what the task actually demands and wants from us, and then we carry on writing. And on that note, thank you for watching all the way till here. I hope there were some juicy parts that you took from today's assessment. Make sure your essay is going to be a very, very, very good and honorable representative of you. So does this. I hope the same happens to your essay, to your letters and reports. And on that note, I wish you a lovely day ahead.